Hi, we're with Dr. Jim Taggart, OAM. Jim is a very experienced and successful businessman from Sydney's West. He built his career over 26 years in the Hills District in the financial services business and sold his business about 5 months ago to a listed company. We're here to talk to you, Jim, about some of the lessons he's learned from his time in business and his experience in life. So, Jim, can I ask you, now that you've had some time out of your business, what do you feel are some of the lessons and upon reflection that you think are worthwhile keeping, passing on to other people?
That's a great question, and thanks for asking me. I think there's many lessons, Michael, that I've learned that I'd like to share with people. And in no particular order, here are some of the things that are really critical to me. As most people know, that I'll turn 60 next year. While that's relatively young, if we add 10 years to that, which is only approximately 130 months, I'm 70. So the next 10 years of my life are critical in my family, in who I want to be, who I am trying to be, and to reflect upon those things are critical in the legacy that I want to leave as a result of being here at this moment in time.
When you say legacy, Jim, are you talking about financial legacy, a legacy of hope, of goodwill, a legacy of, what sort of legacy are you talking about?
Well, I want to leave a lot of legacies, but at the end of the day, I want to make a difference. And I strive every day to try and help people. And I'm very, very big on that as the thing that drives me. I want to be a better person today than I was yesterday because yesterday is gone. So I get up and I say, how can I be better? Now, that's not what I call tea and bickies. That's truly what I believe is a mantra, that I really, as a vision of trying to say, if I can help make someone else's life better, whether it be financial, social, political, economic, then I feel I've been able to achieve what's important to me.
How then do you marry that altruistic approach to life with the cut and thrust of a successful business career?
There's an interesting, again, that's a really interesting question. For me, you try and drown out all the negativity. Business is tough. It's a challenge. Balancing life and work and children and grandchildren and friends and everything is very, very tough. But what I try and do is I try to really have muffins on my ears and to be very focused about trying to achieve things for other people. And those who know me know that I'm fairly authentic about that.
And when it relates to business, how important what are your key philosophies around the way you treat people?
That's the most critical. Michael, you know that I'm very big on networking and I'm very big on social capital or relationship capital. It is the most important asset for any person or business or organisation. And yet many people seem to treat it with scant attention. I'm saying for business, for relationships in your family, your spouse, your children, it's critical that you, as a strategy, develop social capital, extending yourself out to help other people. If that is part of who you are, you'll succeed in every walk of life. And I've always tried to extend an olive branch for people. We're all different.
Yep. But
for me, being human is fundamental for all of us.
And in business, what mistakes do people make most in the area of social capital?
I think they assume that they can just build a relationship. But for me, relationships are based on courting. If you can remember any relationship you've had, particularly when you were 13 and 15 and now, it's all about the courting. It's about making people feel special. And relationships break down because we take each other for granted in business, in marriage, in friendship. It's about excitement, about making people feel that they are worth something. And I think that is really essential, that when you see people, you have a smile outwardly and a smile in your heart. And if you can get that across, you see, I was in financial services, extremely competitive, right? Some people might say, oh, Jim, you just flogged insurance and you did those things. Now, people are entitled to say that. But let me say this to you, for those watching and listening to what I'm saying. Tell me I flogged insurance when you're standing at a graveyard holding a 3-year-old girl's hand when they're burying her father. when he put $1 million cover on himself to give that family hope and dreams that they weren't kicked out of their home. Tell me I did the wrong thing then.
And you've done that?
Plenty of times. 26 death claims, Michael.
Do you take that personally?
Very much so. And maybe...
That emotional experience?
Very much so, because when I come into people's lives, I come into people's lives. If they allow me as a privilege to be part of their life, then I'm in there warts and all. And I think that's the basis of any relationship. That Australians are very good at working out whether you're fair income or not. I really believe that. And so people need to, at that very critical moment, you see, all of us have seasons in our lives. All of us have a season, and it starts and it finishes. What is going to be your moment? And for me, this is my moment in history when that full-time hooter goes.
What would you most like to be remembered for? I'm not assuming that the end of your season is coming, but you talked of legacy.
Yep.
So there's a legacy, there's an agenda there to create some sort of lasting impression.
I would like to be remembered by my children as someone that was a good dad and a good bloke. That someone really who taught them the values that they can carry on for their own kids. Have I done that well? I've done that extremely well from their perspective. Have I got a lot of regrets? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a human being like anyone else. But what I don't lament on those. I try and get up every day and it's a new game plan, and I try and improve myself, as I've said previously. I try to build those relationships. I hope that I'm a good husband to my wife. I hope that society says that he was a giver, not a taker. And that when they're at my funeral, they say he left a legacy, he brought hope, and he brought love to people and made a difference. That's what I want people to say.
Why legacy is important?
Why is legacy important? Because I believe in a higher being. I call that higher being God. And that God is a very different thing for all of us. But I'm hoping, and I hope I'm not naive, but I'm hoping that will be realised one day when it is full time, that I have done the work of someone.
Let me just finish up on something. Mentors. Have you had any great mentors in your life?
Very much so.
You strike me as a man who learns from experience.
Do you know, I interviewed Dick Smith on the radio yesterday, and he left school. He didn't finish TAFE. He left school early. And he said, Jim, I surround myself with very, very good people and I seek advice. And in an ad hoc way, I've done that all my life. I don't have a mortgage on knowledge. There are many brighter people than I would ever hope to be. But what I do try and do is learn from people, because I think that is the source of knowledge. And then I internalise that, and then I say, yep, we can do that. I had what's called the clunk theory only about a week ago, when Nelson Mandela died.
Yep.
And there's a line that he quotes that has stuck with me, and I hope that our listeners or the people watching this might reflect upon, and that is, we are captains of our own soul. At the end of the day, it is us who are the captains, the gatekeepers of who we are.
Thanks very much, Jim. Thank you for your time today.
I'm really delighted. And Michael, I regard you as a good friend, and thank you for all the things that you do for me and for the wider community, particularly in Western Sydney. Merry Christmas.
Pleasure. Thank you, Jim. Dr. Jim Taggart, everyone. Thank you.